Hello Kerbal Nuts and welcome to part 3 of building a space station in Kerbal Space Program. Okay, in this part we're going to build 2 more modules. One escape module so we can get our Kerbals back safely, and a robotic tag module which can ferry and dock things for us. But first off, let's do the escape module because we got a Kerbal up there, and if something drastic goes wrong he will not be coming home safely until this is up there. You can also use this to ferry some Kerbals up there. This is standard design. I'm using a 3-man command pod, heat shield, decoupler and large tank, and the Poodle engine. And don't forget the docking port on top. Yes, and the infamous RCS. And you can look up there in the stats of the Kerbal engine Redux mod. I have over 2,000 meters per second delta V. That's enough to get to the man and back. What the hell am I doing? Well, the reason for that is if you've ever watched the movie Gravity, then a lot of debris can head your way. And what you want to do is get out of the way of that debris. If you can deorbit straight away, fair enough, but this will allow the Kerbals to get out of the plane of the orbit of that debris, because when you get debris in real life, it will most likely stay in that orbit because it's already got so much speed in that orbit. It's less likely to change orbit unless it was given a big huge boost. Anyway, you can see me here struggling with the parachutes on this build. I've always fussed about that because you can never put the radial parachutes in the right places. They're either covering the window or they're covering the hatch. So I see it's covering one of the front windows, but there. I probably think, yeah, fair enough, I'll leave it like that. Same with the solar panels. Yeah, well. Okay, by here you can see me building. What the hell is this? Oh yes, this is the Ascent Stage. And someone suggested that I put a docking port instead of the decoupler on there. I thought, why not? But why not go one step further and bring it back safely? So you see me adding a heat shield, and I know I've got the build on the left, on the right, but there was problems every time I was building it, trying to connect it to the bottom of that stage there. It was no connection there like that. As soon as I take the fuel tank off though, there's a node there. I can connect it easily enough. Okay, so let's attach that there. And you can see as well I've got the RCS tanks under the heat shield to protect them from exploding, except the RCS nozzles on the outside and the solar panels, which may vaporize. Oh, we'll see, we'll give it a test. Okay, now I'm rebuilding the fairing because it was slightly a bit small, and I make a mistake here in this build, but we'll get to that while we get into orbit. Anyway, there's me adding the parachutes for the final retrieval of that probe. And now they're in place. It's just one thing, add the rocket back into place. Make sure we have enough struts attached because I didn't record it, but I didn't have enough struts. It was wobbling like hell on my first launch, so I retried it, added extra struts. Got to record it. But anyway, we're off now to the station. And by now you should know how to launch these into orbit. Always turn west from the launch pad. But as you can see in the nav ball, the view is the wrong way around. That's because I flipped the stage around the Ascent Stage module, because the main part of it was the command pod. Anyway, I correct that by selecting control from the probe body, from the Ascent Stage, and missed stage there because we got rid of the fairing while we're still in the atmosphere. That's not too big a deal because we're through the thickest part of the atmosphere. Anyway, standard getting into orbit. Nothing special about this, so we'll quickly go through these videos as if you already know. And here's Valentina coming. Yes, we said we'd bring in 2 more Kerbals up there. Cannot put any more than 3 up in this because the escape capsule only houses 3. Okay, so now we're in a low orbit. I decide low orbit is not going to hurt. It's going to actually give us extra time to rendezvous. And I set up the maneuver node, and you see it's close to the ascending node. And if you get that, you can adjust your orbit plane much more easier. It's much more efficient to adjust it there than try to fiddle with your maneuvers elsewhere. Okay, and here's the mistake. The stage, the module I was getting up, the escape module, had a mass of 18 tons. Now that Ascent Stage I built in episode 1 was only rated for about 12 tons. Yes, I nicked fuel from the escape pod. What are you gonna do? Kill me? Sack me? Anyway, now we're coming in for Rendezvous. We're coming in quite close. And as always, you thrust towards it, get in close enough, and then you reduce your velocity to 0, as I'm doing by here. And that's what you call a parking orbit. Or parking rendezvous, or something like that. NASA does the same thing. They done a test with the Dragon capsule, I've read on it somewhere. And the first time they sent a Dragon capsule up there, they went into this parking orbit. They said, okay, now you can go a bit closer. And again, you can, get a bit closer, reduce the speed, go to 0, get a bit closer again, until they were, fair enough, let's go dock. But they don't use their RCS to dock with these probes. No, actually, what they do is they use the robot arm. They let it drift in slowly. Because the RCS, in real life, that could easily damage your solar panels or anything else. In Kerbal Space Probe, it doesn't matter so much. So, as long as you're not using rockets near your space station, you'll be fine. Alright then, I think. Alright, come in slowly, use time warp to get closer quickly. And then quickly kill the time warp by here. Whoops, wrong gate. I zoomed past it. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't paying attention. And that can be quite dangerous in space. So luckily we weren't hurtling towards it. Okay, so now we come for the standard docking practice. Now we have our controls set from the docking port, and we set our docking port as the target. Now it's time to use the docking alignment tool, which is absolutely brilliant, because that way you can line your docking node up without even having a look at it. And in fact, you can change camera angles and whatnot. I was hoping that you'd be able to get all the UI out the way except for the docking alignment tool. But that's it. What are you going to do? And I'll show you one cool thing when we use the robotic tug and use that for automatic docking. Okay, so now we're docked. Everything's set. Now our Kerbals can be safe and sound. Okay, there's one thing to do though. Let's get the Kerbals out of the escape pod. If you left click on a hatch, you can select transfer and transfer them to anywhere you want. So let's put him in the crew quarters. And Bill has been on his own up there for quite a while, 2 weeks is it, or something like that. Let's transfer him over to there. And they can be one happy bunch of Kerbals. Okay, let's get VA mode for Valentina. Or point of view. And those command seats double up as their beds as well. You could imagine them folding in the little crevice there. And what? They've got a double bed by there? Ooh. Don't want to go there, sticky situation. Anyway, let's deorbit this Ascent Stage, the probe body, and we can land it safely, hopefully. It's a test to see if it'll stand up to the re-entry heating, and watch this here. Ah! No! What the hell has gone on here? The probe has been destroyed. Lots of debris flying about everywhere. Or has it been destroyed? Okay, debris. Oh, that's good. It must have been that decoupler that exploded. I have no idea what was going on there. Anyway, now we're coming in for deorbit. You can see the solar panels heating up there. And the probe is coming in at a lopsided angle. I'm not sure if there's mass misarrangement there or something. But I couldn't work that out. It might have been that the aerodynamics, it was skimming across the surface, and we come down with an explosion. Okay, so we need to add more parachutes for that. Note to self. Right, here's the robotic probe. Robotic tag, use a robotic probe and use a small docking port on here because that's what we got on the station. I purposely put a small docking port on there for this. And use the Iron Line RCS tanks. and whatever else. This basically is sort of like my version of the robotic arm. On the International Space Station, they use the robotic arm to dock things onto it, move things about, and whatever else it needs to do. Even launch probes, I think, has in the past. Or that may be something else. Anyway. The docking port there. The bottom docking port is what's going to be attached to wherever we're going to dock. Some solar panels for power. And RCS. Lots of RCS thrusters. Because we want this to... This is basically going to be moving heavy objects around. So, the more power we can put on there, the better it is. I know it might make things lopsided when you try and control perhaps a full fuel tank around. And the piece de resistance, MechJeb. And there he sits on the top there nicely. Okay, let's add the Ascent Stage. And don't forget the parachutes. Now, I did say I was going to add 4 parachutes to this Ascent Stage. To try and retrieve this probe. I'm going at the thought that, say if you're in career mode, you want to retrieve as much money back as you want. As you can, sorry. And then, yeah, so I'm going to simulate this here. Sorry if my voice is getting hoarse, I think I've got a cold coming on. Well, my nose is definitely stuffed up. Anyway, let's attach these space tape, because you cannot have too much space tape. And let's go to launch. Okay, targeting the space station. Alright, I was thinking here, well, we're going to go up in space. We've got MechJeb on there, which gives you this ascent guidance. I don't know if you've seen this mod. It's absolutely brilliant. It almost automatically automates everything. Everything you want to do, rendezvous, docking. So I thought, why not put it through its paces and do it? Right, with the ascent guidance, you may want to adjust it because I'm not sure if it's pre the new version of Kerbal Space Program, but basically the new Kerbal Space Program has got new aerodynamics. The last pre-versions of version 1 had all soupy mix. In other words, it was easier to get into orbit with it, even though you needed extra delta V. You could go up to 10 kilometers and turn straight to 45 degrees without tipping over. In this version 1, you can't. Especially with big rockets. I'm having trouble building big rockets to get up into orbit. So I'll have to go over that in my interplanetary tutorials. Anyway, let's do a few adjustments. Set it to start its gravity turn at 100 meters at a speed of 100 meters per second. And I almost forgot. Let's get the space station in front of us. I decided to give her a little extra head start for MechJeb, because MechJeb likes to put those extra maneuvers. That may not be as efficient if you do it manually and properly, but it automates everything. What else could I ask for? Okay, so the problem with this, I forgot to limit the acceleration, because coming into the higher parts of the atmosphere, we'll get re-entry heating. So I sure clicked limit to terminal velocity, as you see the button just above limit acceleration. Because once you're going fast enough to get re-entry heating, it's not going to reduce by reducing your acceleration speed. Anyway, my mistake there. But now we've got our apoapsis, and you can see it's getting spurts there because the atmosphere is reducing the apoapsis height. I keep on trying to say that word. And okay, so it's created a maneuver. No, it'll create a maneuver node as soon as it gets into space. But first off, let's get rid of that fairing and click auto deploy solar panels. So if you walked away from the computer to let it go into orbit, it'll deploy your solar panels so you don't run out of energy as you get up. Okay, so now for the orbit. Pretty standard, although it's a bit more accurate, I suppose, than I would be if I'd done this. Even if I was trying to get a 100 kilometer orbit. See, 100 by 99, you can't get any more accurate than that. I disengaged the autopilot because he was trying to be a bit too fussy with that manoeuvring out. So let's try MechJeb up again. And we're looking for Rendezvous. You can see all the tools by here you get with it. And what have we got here? Rendezvous autopilot, planner. No, planner's for planning it. CS balancer. Okay. Right, we've already picked our target. You have to have our target picked. We've got the station. Final desired distance, 100 meters. Oh, and by the way, I forgot that Ascent Stage is going to be in orbit, 100 kilometer orbit forever now. So it's, you know, it's going to be space junk. If we go into 100 kilometer orbit, we have the potential of hitting it. Anyway, MechJeb is doing its maneuvers. First off, it does the plane change to get in the same orbit plane as the target. Does the rendezvous, and then we're on the final approach. And you see here, it's getting its close approach, and then it's getting into parking orbit again. So I decide, let it do this one last burn, and then we'll disengage the autopilot. Oh yeah, and because MechJeb is in what do you call it, the physics bubble of the space station, it'll control the ship even if you change over to another vessel. Right, now control from here on the space probe. We'll have to get it a bit closer to the station. Now we've only got RCS thrusters on this, no boosters, no rockets. This isn't going far. And it's quite weirdly to use, you know, this is real time here. Most of the video I've been fast forwarding, going fast, but right, I've got the auto docking pilot up now. And we need to select that small docking port. If we can find it. Yes, there it is. Right in front of there. And it's going too fast. Slow down. I deselected the target, okay. Go. And select autopilot enabled. And what this does, it virtually draws a box around the space station and your probe. And it says, right, this is a safe distance. This is the distance we have to be. And then it computes where angle it has to be in. You see, I'm trying to get it from both perspectives. There's target. See, it's still running, even though we're controlling the space station. MechJeb is still running. So basically, you can have a formation of MechJebs running at the same time, doing whatever you want to do, staying in formation perhaps, and do some orbital ballet with robots. Okay, this is cool. We got the space station now with an automated tag on it. The only thing I want to do now is reorient the space station, make it look a bit more like a space station. Those boom arms coming from the sides, from the large docking ports. But those solar panels are misaligned. So what a great way of using a space tug. Setting its first target, reducing the docking speed because I'm sure it rocked the station last time. And Bill was eating at the time, and he spilled his cornflakes. Which is floating around in space, and he's floating around. You can imagine him floating around, munching up those cornflakes as he's going about. Yes, what do Kerbals eat in space? Especially as the theory goes that they're plant-based animals. Okay, this is MechJeb first off, getting out of the safe distance. And then once it's out there, it can come in on the safe distance. Approach. And this is what you should do for every docking. Because if you make one mistake, hit the thrusters. If you've got thrusters, then you're not going to be having a happy day. Especially if you haven't pressed F5 like I haven't been doing, I think, through most of this. Okay, set the target, and now, as you can see there, we've got force roll, 0, no, okay, 90, yep, that'll do. That'll catch the sun's rays and power our station. And I also put the I'm showing you the dump, what's it? Bounding box. Sorry, bonding box. Anyway, I would like to talk to you about where we're going to take this next. Right, I've got modules, roughly what you need for a crew. I was thinking of putting a fuel tank for a refueling station up here. But what else we could do? I was thinking we could do some mining on the man. We could use this as a base to start it, build another space station around the man, build a base on the surface of the man, do a mining operation so we can return fuel to Kerbal. Because, well, why return it to Kerbal is because it is much more efficient to do interplanetary travel from Kerbal than it is from the man. Because of the all-birth effect, you can have higher gravity around the man, around Kerbal, so you're traveling at faster speeds. At least that's what I think it is. Yeah, it must be. Anyway, let me know what you think. A mining operation around the man, another space station, a man base, and where else we can conjure up. Anyway, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you like the idea, tell me in the comments about man drilling operation. And if you want to watch more videos and you're not already, why not subscribe? I'll be doing more videos. Especially some people being asked for interplanetary missions. Trust me, I'm an engineer.